Hey guys, I'm Michael Neff, and today I'll be talking to you about the dangers of perfectionism. We'll go over what is perfectionism, why is it dangerous, and then a little bit of how to prevent it and stop it from happening in our own lives. So first I have a statistic for you, it's 66%. So 66% of workplaces deal with this problem of perfectionism. Either the work environment itself expects perfectionism out of its workers, or the workers themselves for some reason feel this need to be perfect within the workplace. This is a big problem because it is actually leading to 1/3 of the workplace wanting to leave their job. Over half of the workplaces in the United States right now have this problem of perfectionism, and 1/3 of the workers are wanting to leave because of it. So how do we fix this? Well, first we're going to talk about what is perfectionism. And so perfectionism is the need to be perfect or appear as perfect. Someone with a perfectionistic view, to explain, they feel the need to appear perfect to others. They have to act a certain way, they have to be a certain way. And rather than it being like they want to be the best they can, they believe that there is a prescribed way to be. There's a certain way that they have to act to be perfect. And so, as you can see, there's this guy with the weight. He has this weight because it is an impossible thing. It's impossible to act the perfect way every situation. And so every time he feels this weight upon him. And so there's 3 types of perfectionism that I want to talk about. First is self-oriented. Next is socially prescribed. And third is other-oriented. So first, self-oriented. That is where you believe that you need to be perfect. You set expectations for yourself in ways that you act and the ways that you need to behave to be perfect. Next is socially prescribed, and this one is probably the most dangerous. They've seen the most problems in this kind of perfectionism. Someone who is socially prescribed perfectionistic, they believe that others believe they need to be perfect. The reason that this is really bad is because you believe everyone in your world expects this thing out of you. And so not only you hit yourself with guilt and shame, but you feel others are hitting you with guilt and shame whenever you're not perfect. And the third is other-oriented. And this is where, rather than it being focused on yourself, you believe that others need to be perfect. You get upset at them when they aren't perfect, and you expect unrealistic expectations. And so why is this dangerous, other than the points we've already talked about? Well, so first is that it is sort of obsessive. You can see this person with a healthy brain and then the person with a scattered brain. Someone with this perfectionistic view, they will go throughout their day obsessing over being perfect. They have this impossible and really high goal of acting a certain way in every single social moment, and just every moment of their lives they have to be perfect. This leads to hyper obsession, and their brains just can't handle it. It's really bad. Because of this perfectionistic view and this obsession with it, it can lead to depression, anxiety, OCD. They found many mental disorders connected with perfectionism. Next, another problem is isolation. Someone who believes they need to be perfect, they feel guilt whenever they aren't perfect. Someone who thinks others think they need to be perfect, feel shame whenever they didn't achieve what others think they need to. And then someone who believes others need to be perfect, they feel disappointed when they didn't reach their expectations. So no matter what, in every type of perfectionism, there is this isolation, this desire not to be with others, whether it's through disappointment, through shame, guilt. It leads to a lot of isolation. Next is health disorders. So what some people do, like eating disorders. People believe that they need to have the perfect body. They need to be perfectly fit. This could lead to tracking their macros, their proteins, their carbs in an obsessive way. And then they feel these feelings of shame, guilt whenever they don't reach it. So many health and eating disorders are connected to this perfectionistic view. So they have found that perfectionism is most likely, probably connected with social media. What's happening is we see these influencers with the perfect life showing us how we should act, how we should live. And we believe that we need to be like that to live a good life. There's a lot of comparison, and this makes it so some people believe that if they don't have that life as that influencer, that they're failing in their life, and that leads them to feeling like they need to be perfect in the way that they act. So my last slide is how do we overcome and prevent it? I think this is the most important step. So there's 3 parts to this. There's family, there's therapy, and there's connection. So first with family, you see the families that go to soccer, and the parents expect everything out of their kids. When their kid fails, it doesn't matter how much work they put in, they didn't get the outcome that the parent wanted, and so they failed. This is very unhealthy, and it can lead to that perfectionistic view. The kid views, if I don't get this outcome, or if I don't live this perfect way, I lose connection with my family, or I'm bad, right? And so they believe that they have to be perfect in the way they act and the outcomes they get. So a good way to prevent this is through focusing on work rather than outcome. What we do is with our kids or with people in our lives, we congratulate them for working hard rather than the outcome. This speaks to them that the way they act and how much work they put in is more important than the outcome they get. This will stop that perfectionistic view. Next is therapy. So what happens whenever you go to therapy is you talk to a therapist. The therapist will you tell the therapist your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and the therapist will tell you what things are healthy and what things are unhealthy, what things you can change. So as you can see here, there's this person talking to the therapist. They have this ball of yarn, and it's all scattered, and there's lots of knots within it. But whenever it transfers over to the therapist is putting it into these concise little balls. Whenever someone has this perfectionistic view, they will have this confusing, and they aren't able to really tell what things are just a healthy, motivated kind of lifestyle and what things are perfectionistic. The therapist can help us know what things are perfectionistic and what things are motivation. They can help us separate those things into healthy ways and help us make changes in our lives. And so the last is connection. And connection is one of the most important. Someone with perfectionism, they feel like they have to act a certain way, they have to be perfect in this situation, or else they won't have connection. What they end up doing is they focus more on themselves and the behavior rather than the gathering and gaining connection themselves. And so someone who has this perfectionistic view, what they can do is just try to build connection with others, focusing on the connection rather than the behavior itself. So today we talked a little bit about perfectionism and its dangers. We talked about what is perfectionism, why it is dangerous. Perfectionism is this desire or need to appear perfect or be perfect. It's dangerous because it can lead to mental disorders, eating disorders. It stops connection and isolation. And then third, how can we prevent perfectionism in itself? Through our families, through therapy, and through building connection with others. So I hope this resonates with you guys, that you can apply a little bit of these things into yourself, and that you know a little bit more about perfectionism and you understand why this is a bad trait to have. Thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your day.